Hey there Toonsters, I'm back after being away for a while, and for your patience, today's video is going to be top 10 series to air on Toonami. That's right, the best cartoon anime blog to ever exist. Because if you didn't watch Toonami, what did you do with your time? Make friends? Talk to girls? Who knows? I'm only going to include shows from Toonami's first run, and not the recent revival that's on Adult Swim. You know, the glory days from the mid-90s till 2008. So, without further ado, let's dive right in and explore Toonami's top 10 series. When people talk about their first anime, they always mention Dragon Ball Z or Sailor Moon. And while those are my first animes as well, my first full anime experience had to be with Tenchi Muyo. There's been multiple series, but the one I'm focusing on is called Ryoko Oki. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly. And hopefully I'm talking about the correct series. If it's not, let me know in the comments. Tenchi Muyo is about a kid who lives in the outskirts of Tokyo at a shrine and one day unleashes an evil space pirate named Ryoko. And if that's not crazy enough for you, 5 alien women move into his home. And here's the cherry on top.
The most important discovery you'll make is that 6 crazy women living under the same roof all have the hots for him.
Leave Tenchi alone! Tenchi is mine! Tenchi and I were meant to be together, don't you remember?
Just close your eyes, Tenchi.
Yep, good ol' anime. And poor Tenchi. Aside from schoolwork and having to prepare for college, fighting bounty hunters and demons, he has to deal with 6 women pining for his affection. Cause that's just an awful problem to have. But Tenchi is a good guy and doesn't seek any relationships with them. But that doesn't mean you can't pick who you think you should end up with. My pick was Mihoshi. She was just so damn cute and easily the best looking of the 6. And also she had really good luck. There's more to Tenchi Muyo aside from seeing 6 women chase a single man. There's space battles, family drama, and Tenchi discovering that he's part alien. And royalty. Whatever you like, this harem anime has it. And it's not a long watch either, with only 24 episodes. But during its run on Toonami, it was heavily edited to remove blood and excess nudity. So the unrated version might be even more ridiculous. What do you get when you take the high-speed races of F-Zero and then combine it with giant transforming mechas? You get IGPX, Immortal Grand Prix. It's a pretty redundant name given that's what IGPX stands for. No, seriously, that's the title of this anime. It's practically saying its name twice. Anyways, this was Toonami's first and only original series, made in partnership with the studio Production IG, of Ghost in the Shell and Evangelion fame. The story follows newly promoted Team Satome as they aim to win the IG1 league. It's a Cinderella story that gets you fully invested and interested. You want to see these guys win and overcome their personal problems. Most of the story focuses on Team Satome's ace pilot, Takeshi Jin. He's really talented but still has plenty to learn, such as trusting his teammates and learning the values of teamwork. But the highlight of this series is the mecha battles. It's fluid and stunning. It's just freaking crazy. The creators gave it their all, giving each team their own distinct fighting styles and weapons, so not every race is the same. Which is another highlight because it only gets so boring just to watch the same kind of mecha battles over and over and over again. So that's a really nice touch on their part. Also, some of the team names are pretty cool, such as Team Belstein, or Sledge Mama, or Black Egg. I mean, come on, who comes up with this? Season 1 had its flaws, but everything improved in Season 2. I haven't watched all of the episodes, a majority of them, but not all. And the fact that Toonami was able to bring it back after being a tax write-off just goes to show you just how much they care for the show, and just maybe how great it is. And it also gives me a glimmer of hope for another season, or maybe just another Toonami original series. And if you're a fan of mechs, I say give IGPX a try, because in Season 1, that final battle between Team Satome and Team Belstein, holy crap, it's gonna get you on the edge of your seat. I might be cheating a bit here with this entry, since I'm putting 2 here on the number 8 spot. But since they're the same property, it should be okay, right? What does it matter? This is my list anyways. The first being Beast Wars. While it only aired on Toonami for 1 week, it was the most consistent I have ever watched Beast Wars as a kid. Cause getting up on a Saturday morning was not always easy. Beast Wars is still one of my favorite iterations of the Transformers franchise, because what's better than vehicles transforming into robots? Animals transforming into robots. The story is fantastic and ties directly with the G1 series, which was a really nice surprise if I may add. Plus, so many different forms. You had the Transmetal, the Fusors, whatever this was. While the CGI is crap by today's standards, it's still a great show, and helped pioneer more CGI TV shows. The other Transformers show I'm including is Transformers Armada. Has a similar anime style to Robots in Disguise, but I like the story in this one a lot better, with the Autobots and the Decepticons at war, as always, but this time over a race of smaller Transformers called Minicons, which is used to unlock hidden abilities and powers within the Autobots or Decepticons. And what I enjoyed most was the hunt and battle for these Minicons, as well as discovering what hidden abilities of each Transformers was. It gets pretty ridiculous even for Transformer standards, but that could be due to its anime influence. But it's still enjoyable and has my favorite version of Starscream ever. Hitokiri Batosai is a name that I have repeated to myself numerous times throughout my childhood at random times, and now it's gonna be stuck in your head too. During the time it premiered, Rurouni Kenshin was something new and exciting. Kenshin was this wandering Ronin, calm, kind, and just a good person overall. So it seems. So to discover that he was this merciless, bloodthirsty killer was really shocking. Plus, his fighting form of using a reverse sword was unique. The traditional anime style still holds up to this day, and the story, incredible. They also have some really awesome tropes, like the one guy who always has to have the giant sword. Compensating for something there, buddy? Huh? Maybe? There are also some great fight scenes, and I mean they are really phenomenal. Such as Kenshin vs Odo, or Kenshin vs Sano. And no two fights are the same here. They really went above and beyond in making sure each character had a distinct fighting style. I mean, there's only so many ways you can swing a sword, so the fact that they were able to do that just goes to show the credibility to these animators and writers. Rurouni Kenshin also fondly reminds me of Toonami's peak era. Also, I feel like it would have been annihilated if it didn't make this list as well. And please do not check out the creator, it's only gonna tarnish Rurouni Kenshin even more. But do check out the live action movies, probably the best rendition of anime to live action ever. The only reboot that matters and that everyone only cares about. That other reboot doesn't exist. But Reboot was the first fully CGI animated TV series, and it was great! I love this show, and while it aired on UPN first, before Toonami, it was on Toonami where I really started to follow it. The series followed the Guardian Bob, who was in charge of defending mainframe from the viruses Hexadecimal and Megabyte, as well as beating the users, meaning us, in games. There's quite a few Easter eggs to games and movies that we grew up watching. And apparently, the binary code seen on top of mainframe contains profanity, as a big fuck you to the censors. Now that's genius. Reboot is just a fantastic show. And even greater villains. I mean, I could hear the villain Megabyte talk for hours, and I would never get bored. The man just has a fantastic voice. It was really great how they referenced all this computer lingo and technology that we see every day, such as emails, coding, glitches, software updates, and even the internet was this terrifying network. Even they knew about the horrors of the internet back then. Or maybe they would just predict what it would become. Also, Reboot was definitely a product of its time. And when I say a product of its time, I mean the 90s. During the time when brooding, muscular vigilantes or anti-heroes were a huge thing. I mean, just look at what happened to Enzo. It's as if the Punisher and the Terminator had a baby. Anti-heroes were just a big thing in the 90s, I don't know why. Just look at how popular Venom, Punisher, and Cable were. They even tried to get that to Aquaman, and that was an atrocity. Those were dark times for Aquaman. But Reboot is a fantastic show. Unfortunately, it ended on a cliffhanger and did not get the follow-up that it deserved. Fuck you, Guardian Code. Reboot to me is one of Toonami's greats, and it's also one I can fondly remember watching. So please check out Reboot. The original Reboot. The only one that matters. Can you guys tell that I love giant robots? I mean, I did make a list on the top 15 giant robots, and Big O is on there, and he's gonna be on this list as well, because it was a great series. In simplest terms, Big O is essentially Batman with a giant robot. I mean, he dresses in black, has a car filled with gadgets, has a butler, he only operates at night. Well, most of the time he does at least. But essentially, Roger Smith is the Batman of the anime world. But for me, the main attraction here are the Megaduce, which are the names of the mechas in this series. And let me tell you that you feel these Megaduce's presence. Unlike modern mechas that move at lightning speeds, these are more robust and have a steampunk functionality. Which is awesome because you get to see how the abilities of these mechas work. All the gears moving, everything moving into place, and finally, just to see that piston punch pulverize through the enemies. Oh my god, it's great. Aside from the mecha battles and the occasional kaiju enemy, the series has to deal with the population of Paradigm City having amnesia and not having any memories prior to what is known as the event. As well as Roger exploring these dreams he's been having and seeing if they're connected to any of his memories. It dives deep into themes of religion, social hierarchy, and just what the definition of a memory is. It's a very intriguing series and has an ending that really caught me by surprise. And also aired during the prime Toonami years. Such great times. So please, check out the Big O, and you won't be disappointed.
Area scanned. Battlefield set up. Ready? Fight!
What? How is Zoid so high up on this list? Well, you guys may think that there are more better deserving shows. Just remember that this is my list, and you don't have to agree with it. Mostly cause you're wrong. I'm just kidding, guys. It's my list. But when Zoids debuted, the Liger Zero strike laser clawed himself into my heart. I wanted to pilot the Liger Zero. I wanted Zoids to be real and have my own team to compete in the tournament. And have I mentioned that I love mechas? Plus, the story of this underdog team going all the way really makes you want to cheer for the Blitz team. And looking back, there were a lot of side stories and plots that made me appreciate this show even more. Such as the Backdraft group wanting to get the Liger Zero, Naomi and Brad's blossoming romance, and that one episode about the female robot judge who finally got reunited with her love. Yep, there is robot love in this series, people. Such a great episode too. But to top it all off was the epic finale, the battle between the Liger Zero and the Berserk Fury. Oh, such a phenomenal fight. You guys just have to watch it to check it out. Seriously. Also, the Liger Zero had many armor changes, which was awesome. My favorite was the Liger Zero Jaeger, but the coolest one was obviously the Schneider armor. All Zoid battles are just pure epicness, and just the variety of it, from head-to-head combat to guns blazing and even guerrilla warfare, this show is incredible and rightfully deserves its spot here. There were two versions that aired on Toonami. New Century aired first, and it's the one I associate Zoids with most. But then came Chaotic Century and Fusoid. But by that point, my Zoid craze had been quenched. But do check out Zoids, maybe you'll like New Century or Chaotic Century. Either one of those two are great. No, he has to be joking, is what you're all probably thinking right now. That this show just has to be number one. because it's the granddaddy of Toonami. It's what put Toonami on the map. Well, it's no joke, Toonsters. Dragon Ball Z is number 3 on this list, and I have some pretty good reasons as to why. One being the long pauses in between battles. You all know what I'm talking about too. There would be like a 20-second compilation of a fight, and then they would talk about their ideals or why they will lose and to prepare for their next attack because it's their finisher. And then, before you know it, you have to hear this music playing. And you're left with blue balls. Teased, cheated. Like, how dare you delay this fight? Second, repeating the same episodes. Yeah, back in those times, I'm sure dubbing took some serious amount of time. And while we were on the Frieza saga, Latin America was already on the Buu saga or even GT. And to make it worse, it seemed like forever for a new episode of Dragon Ball Z to air. You know how many times I would come home from school and see the same episodes of the Frieza saga play over and over? I pretty much know the Planet Namek like the back of my hand at this point. And you can only watch Piccolo fuse with Nails so many times before it loses its coolness. However, there is a silver lining, because I have deeply fond memories of this series. I mean, it's what inspired many of us to do fan art, or even do a Kamehameha wave at our friends, hoping that maybe just one day it will work. I'm still trying, by the way. And for a majority of us, it opened the door to the world of anime. Let's also not forget the chills you felt when you finally, and I mean finally, saw Goku turn Super Saiyan for the first time. I still get chills watching that episode now. Or when we witnessed the epic finale to the Cell games with Gohan's father-son Kamehameha wave. We all felt those chills too. Or Vegeta sacrificing himself to destroy Majin Buu. Not that it worked, but the effort was noted. And I know everyone felt the same chills I did that day as well. The cultural impact alone is enough to put Dragon Ball Z number 1 at the spot, but just the inconsistencies and the delays and how long it took for a fight to finish is why I notched it down to number 3 here. Still, it was a phenomenal series, and it opened the door for many of us, and I have no regrets ever starting to watch that series. Dragon Ball Z was the best, and it is the granddaddy of Toonami, because without it, I don't think Toonami would have survived. I would tell all of you to go check out Dragon Ball Z, but that's just a rhetorical question at this point. Aside from Dragon Ball Z, the other big hitter on Toonami was Gundam. And I promise you, this is the last mecha entry on this list. Or is it? I couldn't settle on one Gundam series alone, because they all have something that I love. And others I just haven't watched as well, such as Mobile Suit Gundam 8th MS Team, or Mobile Suit Gundam War in the Pocket, which just sounds like a porn name. But anyways, I mean, Gundam Wing was my first, and it's why I fell in love with mechs in the first place. And just witnessing those battles as a kid was everything. I mean, I never thought I would ever see a cartoon like that. There's plenty of more other Gundam shows that I could talk about, but I want to talk about what is my favorite Gundam series, and that is G Gundam. And I know other people are gonna hate me for it, but I just love G Gundam so much. The premise of the series is the space colonies of Earth hold a tournament every 4 years to decide which nation will be in power, till the next tournament. Essentially a World Cup of Gundam fights. Domon Cash was the main character and represented Neo Japan with his Shining Gundam, who had the glorious Shining Finger attack. Domon is also searching for his brother Kyoji, who has stolen the Devil Gundam after an incident that resulted in having their mother murdered and their father cryogenically frozen. With the Devil Gundam, Kyoji is on a murdering spree and also infecting other Gundam pilots with DG cells. There is more to the story, and I just don't want to spoil it for you guys, so you're just gonna have to check it out. But G Gundam also has some of the coolest Gundam designs I have ever seen, and the unique piloting system was different than what other traditional Gundam series had as well. I love the story of G Gundam, and hopefully you guys do too. But Gundam overall deserves to be number 2 here on this list. If there was ever an anime that could rival Dragon Ball Z, it was Yu Yu Hakusho, and I couldn't think of any other series more deserving of the number 1 spot. This series was captivating, from having a relatable hero and Yusuke Urameshi. He may not have been the nicest or most lovable guy, but he always did what was right and had a good sense of morals, and a strong sense of justice, even if he was lazy at times. The cast of characters were also memorable and real, from the noble Kuwabara, the intelligent Kurama, and the bad boy of the group, Hiei. But what truly made this series stand out above the rest was the incredible Dark Tournament saga. So many glorious moments, and no stalling either like they did in Dragon Ball Z. Each episode of the Dark Tournament had me on the edge of my couch. It got to the point where I ended up on the floor. Every character also had a chance to shine in the Dark Tournament. I mean, who could forget when Hiei unleashed the Dragon of the Darkness Flame for the first time? Pure chills in that moment. While Dragon Ball Z was fun and exciting, Yu Yu Hakusho got real, and tugged at emotions that 13-year-old me didn't know existed. And it's why it's number 1 on this list. And if you haven't watched it, do yourself a favor and do, cause it's incredible. Well, Toonsters, that's my list for Toonami's top 10 series. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know if you agree or disagreed with my list, or if there are other series that deserve a spot in the comments. I'm sure many of you have your faves. But until next time, Toonsters, this is Geeknight, signing off.